My name is Nan Cohen. I'm with Light Productions. I'm the producer of Light Television, and I want to welcome you to the Jeannette Rankin Peace Center's 16th Annual Peacemaker Award Ceremony. This year, 2003, the Peacemaker Award goes to Rita Jankowska-Bradley and her family. It is truly an honor and a privilege for us and Missoula to celebrate this award with Rita and the Bradleys. They are amazing people, and their shining example of peace and justice is a model for the rest of us. Thank you, Rita, Cliff, Damien, Janina, and Egan. We love you, and Missoula loves you. Here is the Conbrio Women's Chorus to get us started, and they will be followed by the coordinator of the Jeannette Rankin Peace Center, Anita Doyle.
Thank you so much. That was just beautiful. Oh, welcome to all of you. Can you hear me okay? Yeah? Okay, great. I was going to say before we begin, but I'd rather say as we begin, let's begin with some expressions of gratitude, because there's a lot of things to be grateful for, and I have a lot of people to be grateful to for bringing this event together. First of all, again to Cohen for rehearsing and volunteering their time and bringing such beauty into the beginning of our time here together. Also to Father Jim Hogan and to Christ the King Church for this beautiful space in which we get to come together. To Rick Gold and Nan Cohen for taping this event for Rita. To the women in black with whom Rita stands in weekly vigil on the Higgins Bridge, and most especially to Suzanne, Melina Kay, and Carol Schneider for doing an extraordinary job bringing the reception together. That'll be downstairs after the event. They've done wonders down there. Also to Liz Rance and People of Faith, People of Action for contributing much of the food that you'll be eating down there as well. To Jean Duncan and John Birchie, Teresa Jacobs, and others at the Jeannette Rankin Peace Center who contributed their time and talent to this event. And to all of you, this wonderful supportive network of peacemakers and friends, for the leaven that you are in the community, and for coming to celebrate Rita on this beautiful spring evening. Before we move to honoring Rita, I want to take a moment to honor someone else, someone near and dear to the Jeannette Rankin Peace Center, who tomorrow will serve his last day on the Coordinating Council. That person is Dean Ritz, and it seems both fitting and appropriate to use this setting, this public setting, to express our gratitude to Dean, because without exaggeration, had it not been for Dean's involvement and his contribution of at least a gazillion hours of his time in straightening out the unbelievable morass of record keeping at the Peace Center, we might not be here today celebrating this event. So we're very, very, very grateful to Dean, and we're going to miss him terribly. And so I'd like to invite you, Dean, to come up and receive an award. Hereby bestows its undying, infinite, perpetual, and furthermore never-ending gratitude for his years of patient and dedicated service so far above and beyond the call of duty that you wouldn't believe it. There's nobody like him, he's the bee's knees. Day of April in the year 2003 of the new calendar. Wait a minute now. We also have an award for Gemma the Wonder Dog, who is Dean's companion and the unofficial mascot of the Jeannette Rankin Peace Center Coordinating Council. We lavish praise on her as well and scratches behind the ears for patiently enduring her tenure as the Jeannette Rankin Peace Center Coordinating Council's unofficial mascot.
Second your honor.
A coupon good for fair trade chocolate bar whenever you visit JRPC. So thank you so much. There is a poet who many of you may know, but perhaps some of you don't, and I'm excited to be able to introduce you to him if you don't. His name is Rumi, and he's a 13th century poet of the mystical branch of Islam called Sufi. And this is one of his poems. Someone who does not run toward the allure of love walks a road where nothing lives. But this dove here senses the love hawk floating above and waits and will not be driven or scared to safety. Rita Jankowska-Bradley is this kind of fearless dove. She knows that love is the vital essence of peace because social justice is love writ large upon the community. And without justice, there's no peace. We will be hearing from people this afternoon who know Rita intimately, so I will limit my own remarks to these. The Peacemaker of the Year Award is given annually to one member of our community whose long-standing dedication to peace and justice marks them as the kind of servant leader that these times call for. Those of us who have the privilege of knowing Rita know that she is an exemplar of love in her daily life and a fierce advocate for compassionate justice for those members of the global family whose lives are made invisible and whose voices are drowned out by the blinding din of greed and abusive power too present in the world. In many ways, this recognition today is long overdue. But with someone like Rita, the delayed award just means that we have more accomplishments to honor. Her many years as a professional nutritionist and dietitian attuned her to the special problems of poverty and malnutrition. This led her into global hunger work and especially into the Jubilee Network. She is a member of the Coordinating Council of Jubilee USA and is the local coordinator for Jubilee Missoula. And this is a group that is dedicated to educating the public and working towards the elimination of global debt that so keeps much of the third world in what up to this point has seemed like a permanently impoverished state. This work is vitally, vitally important peace work. As long as people are living under conditions of unbeatable debt, there's no way for them to progress in ways that bring peace into the world. She has also been an active resistor to the ongoing existence of the School of the Americas, which is a terrorist training camp, training school right here on American soil in Georgia. She has gone down to the annual School of the Americas protest two times, where thousands of people gather each year to say no to the existence of this school. Most recently, Rita has been very, very deeply involved in the organization of Women in Black. Carol Schneider, who is with us today, started this group in Missoula shortly after September 11th. Rita became involved right at the outset and has since taken over much of the leadership and organizing of that group, which stands weekly on the Higgins Bridge as silent witness to the victims of violence of all kinds. And this group is so enlivened by Rita's presence that when they were invited to bring things and be involved in doing the reception this afternoon, they leapt at the chance. There's so much love there for Rita, and it's a love that we all recognize in the community she is tremendously worthy of. I'm going to turn the podium over to a very dear friend of hers, Sister Kathleen O'Sullivan, who will tell you a little bit more about Rita from the inside.
Good evening, everyone. Isn't it great for us to be here for this occasion? I have known Rita Jankowska-Bradley for some 30 years, first in Butte and now here in Missoula. And over the years, Rita has been and still is a mentor to me, leading me to and through places I would not otherwise have dared to go. But that's her way. In addition to empowering me and others, I find Rita to be a woman both humble and courageous, a woman of amazing energy that is both constant and contagious, a woman whose commitment is deeply grounded and resilient. The fine newspaper article by Ginny Merriman and Anita Doyle's introduction laid out the scope of Rita's life of peace and justice. But I want to share with you a few of my experiences of peacefulness and community that are bound up with Rita. What I really want to share are the feelings that have stayed with me, even though the details of the events that gave rise to them have become a bit hazy. Rita, I apologize if my recollection differs from yours. But my heart warms whenever I recall these long ago times, and I'm buoyed up still. Rita, do you remember the panel of candidates for state and federal offices that you, on behalf of Bread for the World, organized in Butte before the 1972 elections? Max Baucus and Pat Williams were running for Congress for the first time. A large crowd came to hear and question some of the umpteen politicians who were on the panel and who came to answer questions and discuss poverty. To gain admission, members of the audience had to bring a dish for the potluck that was to follow the discussion. I don't remember a thing that any panelist said that night, but I'll never forget that potluck. It was huge, but perfectly balanced. Nothing was lacking, and there wasn't too much of any one item. I'm not sure why I still have such good feelings about that night. Did we have our own version of loaves and fishes? At least, I've never since fussed about planning a potluck. Trust the folks, it'll be okay. The second experience I observed from a distance. There was a wanderer who came to Butte now and again. He'd get a room uptown and drop by the Butte Community Union, where Rita often was. Or maybe Rita met him when he'd get a ride to the TAPS meeting, the peace group in Butte, which Rita helped found. Anyway, this gentleman, although I thought of him as an old codger, seemed past middle age and was very taciturn, though it became known that he had been jailed for his beliefs, either conscientious objection or labor issues, perhaps, I can't remember. Rita and this tight-lipped man struck up a friendship, and on occasion, Rita would invite him to dinner with her family. And then one day, after he had gone off again, she received a letter from a doctor in Minnesota saying her friend was dying and that Rita was his only contact. As Rita made travel plans, word came that her friend died. But he died knowing that Rita was on her way to him. Finally, you know how meditation teachers suggest that you go deep into your mind to a place of beauty and calm to quiet yourself. Well, such a place for me is the large, comfortable, old shoe living room in the Bradleys' big old, well-lived-in home in Butte. Well, it's a cold, starlit night that I remember in winter. And at Rita's invitation, members of the peace group had gathered to write letters to prisoners of conscience. I glance up from my rocker near the fireplace. The room is softly aglow from the scattered table lamps. Heads are bent over pads of notepaper. Pens pause between written thoughts. One woman has brought her elderly mother and is whispering softly to answer her question. That scene and the love and peace I felt at that moment stays with me. To be united in spirit and common purpose with others must be an intimation of heaven. In closing, let me salute the Jankowska-Bradley family. I think they, Rita, Cliff, and their children, Damien, Janina, and Egan, are a sign of peace to anyone who has contact with them. I see them treat each other with such gentleness and respect, and they are so at ease with one another. I'm blessed to know them. The values of the parents have flowed so naturally to their offspring, and I nominate them for the first peacemaking family of the year.
Yeah.
Kathleen, you are not the first person to nominate the family for the Peace Award. We hope we're honoring the whole family in this award. Damien, Egan, and Janina. And they'll be followed by Father Cliff.
Well, good evening, and yes, we are, as a whole family, very honored by this award. Thank you, everyone in Missoula, for this great honor. And last week I was at an Easter Mass in Seattle, and the Seattle Archbishop gave a wonderful speech, and he was talking about, in his speech, he talked about how important it is to have enthusiasm and joy in order to accomplish things. And when I thought of that, instantly made me think of my mother and all the, when she does her peace and justice work out in the community, what an infectious enthusiasm and joy she has with it. I think is an incredible quality to bring people together, obviously by the nice size of the crowd here today. You all know her as for her community work, but we've been very privileged to know her as our mother. So that's what I wanted to talk to her as our mother a little bit tonight. Certainly had a very blessed life. For both of my parents, we had lots of culture, knowledge, a lot of caring in our family. We were able to travel, and they were always there for us. It was late night at a science fair. We're always trying to get ready or come home from fighting at school or be very sick or whatever it was. We had a tight bond and a wonderful family. In fact, they're, been married for over 30 years. It's just a wonderful example to all of us. They've instilled great values to us of peace, love, compassion, understanding. I was taught to, whether, a common person, whether they were homeless or the president, to treat them the same. And probably the greatest lessons I learned were firsthand watching Mom work in the community. She was incredibly involved with our schools. She noticed a large presence of the Army in our school system. And as part of the TAPS that Sister Kathleen talked about, they organized a alternative peace award in the science fairs to counteract a lot of with the Army, the Marines, the Navy awards have been there. Did that for many years. She received a national award in San Francisco for that work. She was always at our house. From her knowledge for prenatal care, for breastfeeding and nutrition, we'd always be getting calls from new mothers who were having a problem with their baby, knew to come to Mom for issues of health. She was involved in the lead level advisory committees and the health boards in view of very active member of that community. And I think these qualities of health and caring certainly speak to peace and social justice. Probably the most powerful experiences I had when was just after moving to Montana, age 5 and 6, we'd go to Malmstrom Air Force Base near Great Falls for a peace celebration around Easter. Here at the Air Force Base, at a very young age, I got to watch people probably my age now who would cross the line and be arrested, but standing up and acting for their values and their beliefs. And those images hold very strong for me today. It was then I gave my first anti-war speech at the age of 6. And these are all values and experiences that I take with me today, and all the work I've done in community organizing in Seattle, the work I hope to do in the future. And I did want to quickly speak to the Missoula community. It was such a breath of fresh air to come out here last summer for the Global Justice Action Summit. And it was amazing to see how well organized everyone was, how the spirit and togetherness of the community, and I think you should be commended for it. I do know that there is a duality in the universe, and for as much bad things going on, there are the forces of life that are counteracting that. And I think the people in this room embody that. And I think the choice that you've made as the Peacemaker of the Year Award is specifically fitting because I see a mother as an ultimate symbol of life. She brought me life, them life, and just as we care for our Mother Earth, I think is a beautiful choice. And with that, I want to turn it over to my younger brother and sister, Janine and Egan.
I'm not as good as a speaker as the other ones, but and it's kind of difficult because I've got a lot to talk about with my mom. But anyways, I have a kind of a silly little poem. But I was in Puerto Rico last semester and studying, and I didn't really have a lot of contact with what was going on, and the war was starting and stuff. And I just one night got done talking with my mom, and I was so amazed about how much empathy she has and compassion for everybody. And so it's hard to wrap up my mom, but I wrote kind of a silly little poem after that. And it's kind of also about the fact that she's I see her, not just my mom, but the world's mom. And I guess I got to share it because I got such a good thing. So, but anyways, the poem's called Soul Mama. Soul Mama, you be Jam, with all the essence, teaching me the lessons to fight for all that's right. You be flown to the deep beat, like the river flows, the downpour, carrying fertile life. You got power, you are what makes the people's history. A true mama, giving strength to all the world's children, carrying yourself with beauty and offering words filled with power that pulsate from the very soul of human. Love, hope, love, hope, love, hope, love. You are the change in the fight that flows in sons and daughters to hold, to the wind, to the water, to the fire, the things that cannot be bought, but are the priceless juice of life. Soul Mama, you be Jana, spreading the fire.
It's hard to follow all that. But I want to say stuff about what my mom does besides the many groups everybody else talks about. She's one of the youngest members of the Missoula Women for Peace, the oldest members of Community Action for Justice of the Americas. So she does everything across the spectrum. And she acts as a surrogate mother for everybody involved in CAHA here that doesn't have a mother that works hard for peace and justice and everything in the world. And like everyone was saying, she's instilled us as children of hers with the act of peace, not just the peaceful, but how to act peace and how to act justice throughout the world. And battling Gulf War I and Butte which is a hard place to battle peace for. But at a young age too with TAPS. So I wrote a small speech/poem together called In Times of War. And in times of war, in times of injustice, in times of strife, in times of hate, one voice stands above the rest, one united voice of peace, a voice of millions, a cry, a decry of peace. A voice that stands above the rest of voices of peace is the voice of my mother, Rita. Not only her voice, but her life, her actions, her spirit, radiating a gentleness, a calmness, standing for peace, opposing war and injustice on the front lines, in protests across the nation and the world. From Washington, D.C., standing strong, quiet, against the overwhelming might of the WTO and the IMF. For the voices of the voiceless, she's standing, saying, drop the third world debt. In Canada, braving the searches and interrogations at the border, trying to get to the G8, once again to speak for the voice of the voiceless, and staying calm and peaceful throughout, by singing and praying to herself, peace be with me and know that I am coming, over and over to herself, so she could withstand everything that was being thrown at her at the border. In Georgia, against the SOA, in Nicaragua, in Seattle, and in Missoula, marching and standing. We are here to love and honor you, Mom.
Thank you all for coming. It's an amazing collection of people here. When I first met Rita about somewhere in the neighborhood of 34 years ago, if my arithmetic is still correct, in chemistry class at the University of Idaho. And before the semester was out, I was pretty well smitten. 34 years later, I still am. And I can't imagine having lived this much of my life in any other way but with her. And hope to continue to live a long time and continue this work. I can't begin to describe the energy. Sometimes I have a little trouble keeping up with it. It's an incredible energy, but it comes from an incredible compassion and an incredible commitment to and to living life a life that honors her personal convictions. It still amazes me to be with her in another country, another place, to see the level of compassion she brings to the people around her, who she may know well, or who this may be the first people she's met for the first time. And to be with someone for this long who lives their convictions every day is a real blessing in my life. It's an incredible blessing in my life that we've been able to be together and raise 3 children you just met. Tremendously fulfilling to have your children to carry your values and carry the work, and that's Rita being a mother to them. It's been an amazing thing. One of the other amazing things to have been with Rita all these years and working in these things is the incredible people we've met that have been into our lives. You meet the nicest people at protest, you know. And it's been, that's been an amazing thing in our life from when we met in the university and sort of crucible of the Vietnam War, and protesting that. People we've met in Idaho, our family, our friends in Idaho who we've worked with for many years, many issues of support from our parents and relatives and the friends we had there. We worked on many issues, particularly in Latin America, and working issues of El Salvador, and especially Nicaragua. We have friends and long-standing acquaintances and friends in Nicaragua over the years from a lot from Rita's compassion. And to Butte, where we lived for many years, incredible friends, and again, just trying to keep up with Rita, moving through all these organizations. And then we came to Missoula, and with this unbelievable collection of people, community here, that has just been an amazing part of life to come and join a community like this of people who do live their convictions every day. I wouldn't have it any other way but to be in a community like this with Rita to just keep working for the things we need to be working for. So it's a tremendous honor for Rita. It's a tremendous honor for the family that you've all come together to help us celebrate this. And we will keep on until we get this world right.
And now we get to see the beautiful award. We have members of the Missoula Peace Quilters here who have been, from the time the Peace Award was begun many years ago. Does anybody know how many years? I should know that. How many? 1986. 13 years? Is that right? Yeah. Okay, so 13 years ago. And the Peace Award was actually begun by the Missoula Peace Quilters, not by the Jeannette Rankin Peace Center. It was something that they thought of. After a few years, they turned it over to the Peace Center to find the worthy recipient of the year, but they continue to be the primary impetus to getting this award together year after year. And I want to ask Suzanne Stennett to come up and speak a little bit about the Peace Quilters and present the award to Rita Jankowska-Bradley.
Thank you. This is the second year that I've had the wonderful pleasure of presenting this award. And as a member of the Missoula Peace Quilters, it's an amazing process. We had a delightful interview with Rita. Seems like yesterday, but I'm sure it was a while ago. And then our creative juices flowed, and we all took those ideas that she shared with us that were important in her life, and we created this quilt for her. And in this quilt, it's unveiled. Isn't it pretty? When I arrived today, I was early and I went down to the reception area, and this was not planned. There are white tablecloths with cranes folded cranes all over the table. And I said, oh, did they see the quilt? They hadn't. So it's kind of like that potluck. That karma obviously follows you everywhere you go. There are several things in this quilt that I'd just like to share. Rita shared with us that children and youth are very important to her. Obviously, anyone involved in peace would have that. And this has a playful nature to it. The bright colors also reflect her interest in Latin America and her appreciation for art from Latin America. There is a garden in the lower portion here that is just barely showing the results of the seed sown to represents sustainable agriculture. The purple throughout the quilt, in the flowers up here in the corner, there's little buds and kind of purple hues in the birds to represent spirituality. There is a peace symbol quilted on the mountainside of our dear Missoula. In the clouds, there is quilted a nursing mother symbol, and also the Picasso symbol for create peace. The bright colors I mentioned represent children and Latin America. The flowers and the lace and the vase represent femininity. In the vase there is quilted the symbol of women in black. The lilies have a variety of interpretations. White for peace. The red rose is often given in representation of honoring life and death, and the full cycle of those. The cranes are obviously a symbol of peace. Quilted in the window frame is the poem that was mentioned earlier, Peace Be Still and Know That I Am Coming. In the table there is quilted the chains for Jubilee. In the wall, a quotation from your daughter's poem, Soul Mama. The wicker window, the fabric in the window frame is looks like wicker, and it represents the weaving of the threads of life, and it is women's work oftentimes. The window gives us calm, peace, beauty, and a view of the world as a peacekeeper knows it. The busy, frenetic person who has contributed so much to our community, we hope is well represented in this quilt. And a little piece to go in your hand, one crane that just couldn't find a spot on the quilt would stay with me. So thank you.
I know there are other winners of the Peacemaker of the Year award here this evening, and if you would come up here and stand behind Rita as she delivers what remarks she has for us tonight, and you can hold the quilt too, so everybody can keep seeing it. Come on up. We have Perry Gleesman, Father Jim Logan, Joe Chesson, and Liz Rance.
And Anita Doyle.
Yeah.
People here. I'm so lucky to be here among your presence. Today is World Children's Day, which is to me, such a joy. And I want to, of course, first just to say thank you. Thank you to all of you, to the Peace Quilters for their beautiful, beautiful work, and to all the people in this community. But I did prepare something because I knew I would get scattered and forget what I wanted to say. But muchísimo gracias. I am truly humbled because as I greet you and greet this honor, I understand that this award is not mine, but ours. I am just one piece of the peace community. Peace work, justice work is done together in partnership, in solidaridad. We together, as family, as community, as friends, and compatriots, gather strength to work for peace, for justice, for a just peace. I have a special thank you for my spouse Clifford, who has been my partner in peace and justice work for so many, many years, and our children, Damien, Janina, and Egan, who have all, since very early ages, stood up, written, and spoken for peace and justice for both the earth and the people, many times, sometimes under difficult circumstances. And all the other young people, young adults who I work with who inspire me because of their commitment to peace and justice, human rights, environmental protections, and sustainable agriculture. You, my family, my community, have helped me to grow in my own strength, in my own work toward a just peace. For it is the we who come together, work to build a deeper peace, a better world, one where justice is paramount. Peace we believe, peace we build, peace we become. One by one, we become many and one. Our gentle footsteps become louder as we grow, softer as we understand. Our spirits gather, take flight, carried on the winds of hope, gently landing on the land to plant seeds, seeds of peace, seeds of understanding, seeds of kindness and hope. Nourished by justice, they emerge, gather sunlight and blossom into fruit that graces our broader community. Joining hands and hearts and hopes, we unite in solidarity with peoples across the many lands. In our journey, we gather in silence, we gather in prayer, we gather in strength of vision. Our collective wisdom creates hope. Our collective hopes provide melody. Our voices unite and harmonize. We sway to the rhythm of life, of hope, of peace, of joy. We sing and march and speak and work together for dignity and justice. We bring our spirits together. We, the collective we activists for peace, social justice workers, promoting dignity, struggling to right wrongs, seeking justice, promoting respect for peoples and cultures, fighting for equality, respecting varied beliefs, working for global justice, striving for a better world. We are people of action and people of faith, united in peace and justice ministry. We are a Jubilee Missoula network, united with our Jubilee partners in greater than 60 countries, working to right relationships and restore balance in our troubled world through debt justice. We are Missoula Women for Peace, united with our sisters in Women's International League for Peace and Freedom around the world. We are Community Action for Justice in the Americas, united with our sisters and brothers in Latin America, working in solidaridad por la justicia y paz. We are the Missoula Marino affiliates, working, praying, serving, acting as messengers in the worldwide community, building bridges of hope and understanding as we reach out to the lonely, suffering, poor, and marginalized. We are women in black, standing in silent vigil against violence with our sisters across the many lands. We are peace quilters, promoting and giving honor through artful creations for those who serve. We are the Jeannette Rankin Peace Center and its members, providing a peace garden to renew, a space for community to gather and voices to unite, and offering and honoring for the workers for peace and justice in our community. We are the labor alliances working to create fair compensation and dignified lives for those who labor and for those who should not, the children. We are Caring for Creation Network, working to sustain the natural world as it sustains us through solace and peaceful retreat. We are Seeds of Peace and Peace Farm workers who provide support through wholesome and nourishing food and sound agricultural practices so those who work for justice can be sustained. We are peace seekers networking to create a different, stronger voice for our Montana, united with peace seekers worldwide. We are the community that gathers to protest the School of America WISC that trains Latin American soldiers to oppress and kill their own people. We are poets and songwriters and musicians who provide a creative venue to promote peace, justice, and culture. We are the environmental justice community working to keep our natural world intact, to save the wild country and creatures for the benefit of all the earth and humankind. We are connected in our work, and through these connections we came together to provide the Global Justice Edu Action Summit that bridged the world community. We, aware, concerned, dedicated, determined seekers of justice, workers for peace and reconciliation at home and abroad. We come together with ideas, ideals, radical to those who do not understand, that to create peace through justice, one must struggle to uncover the root of problems. We come with spirits on fire, dreams alive, commitment passionate, vision strong, work enduring for a better world. What a blessing and an honor to be part of this local and broader world community. I cherish your work, each and all, beautiful life spirits that nourish my spirit and each other's spirits. Let us sing and be sung, and let us dance for peace and justice. And maybe we can sing for justice with the Jubilee. So anybody who wants to sing the Jubilee song, this is, David, are you going to play? No. Oh, I guess maybe, is Zoe here? No. Okay, I can't. Well, maybe we won't have the Jubilee song. No, that's works. Okay. Because otherwise I have to sing it by myself. Thing I wanted to say about me. And as the prayer says, may God bless us with the foolishness to think that we can make a difference in the world, so we will do the things which others say cannot be done. Again, thank you for this honor, but mostly thank you for your commitment to a better world, a world that we all know is possible. El pueblo unido más será vencido. And I want everybody to turn and give a hug to everybody else because it sure feels good. We do have a beautiful song. Now you can hear how the World Peace song is supposed to be sung. So you have to stay. Because I tried to do it and they say, oh, Rita, another time. So, Hans and Barb are going to lead the World Peace Song. Does everyone have a copy?
Except we're going to change some of the words because the song requires not to be me, but to be us, lead us instead of lead me. And then the second lead me, we're going to omit it. Okay, so we'll go through it the first time and then we'll ask you to, let's stand and then do it with us, okay? So we'll go through it the first time. Lead us from death to life, from falsehood to truth, from despair to hope, from fear to trust. Lead us from hate to love, from war to peace. Let peace fill our hearts, let peace fill our world, let peace fill our youth.